This thing is called a Rubik's Cube. Originally being a 3x3x3 cube, it comes in many sizes including 2x2, 4x4, 5x5, and even 10x10 cubes. But my computer doesn't like it when I render such big cubes, so let's stop doing that. The iconic cube was awarded the 1980 German Game of the Year for Best Puzzle and is widely considered to be the world's best-selling toy. Let's start from the beginning, shall we? The Rubik's Cube was invented by a Hungarian sculptor and professor of architecture named Erno Rubik, hence the Rubik's Cube. He applied for a patent in Hungary on the 30th of January 1975 and was granted the patent HU 170062 a year later. After the initial batches were sold in May of 1980, the sales were rather modest, but at the end of 1980, Rubik's Cube won a German Game of the Year for Best Puzzle. Next, in March of 1981, a speedcubing championship was organized by a rather small group you may have a small group you may have heard of called the Guinness Book of World Records in Munich. But then, in October of 1982, the New York Times had reported that sales had dropped, and by the time that 1983 rolled around, it was clear that sales were starting to take a hit. While sales did drop, Rubik's Cube continued to be manufactured and sold throughout the 80s and 90s, but it wasn't until the early 2000s that interest began rising again. Following the expiration of Rubik's patent in 2000, other cube brands began appearing, especially from
China.
Many of these Chinese brands were engineering their cubes for speed, and thus are favored by many speed cubers. There are many different types of speed cubing styles, some of which are blindfold solving, solving with a single hand, solving with your feet, solving with the fewest possible moves, and many more. These types of challenges are super fun and really entertaining to watch. Before we move on, I would like to make something very clear. If you thought you were gonna get through this video without learning how to solve a Rubik's Cube, you're probably right. I'm not going to teach you the actual algorithms or moves, or how effective they are. Also, I won't be favoring certain methods over others, because that's a story for another time. So, that was a lot to take in. However, now I've told you about the origins with Erno Rubik, the initial hype over the cube resurgence in the 2000s, and a little intro to some other competitions. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, everyone, and wash your hands.